All right, before we get started, a quick message from the sponsor of today's video. All right, well, welcome. Let's look at the national stats as far as the housing market. Existing home sales right now for the month of June were down negative 3.3%. This is according to the National Association of Realtors. It's saying existing home sales slipped in June 2023, with the sales varying among the four major U.S. regions. The Northeast experienced gains. So we saw that, okay, in my area, Northeast. The Midwest held steady, and the South and the West posted decreases. So different areas, different results. As all four regions recorded year-over-year sales decline. So there's a decline in sales right now as far as what's ongoing. And let's see what this here says. It says the existing home sales data measures sales and prices of existing single-family homes for the nation overall, and gives a breakdown for the West, Midwest, South, and Northeast region. So that's just updating you on what that says. So what does that mean? I can say it's the trend that we can all say. Certain areas, certain houses sell based on location and the price point, obviously. The total crash hasn't happened yet, as everybody keeps speculating. A couple things keeping that from happening is, one, the inventory levels are really low and the interest rates are kind of high. So you'll think a lot of people won't be buying houses, but those that got houses in good locations are still moving. That's what the market has been showing. People are not looking for projects, right? Things to fix up. Let's see what the pending home sales are looking like. So pending home sales for the month of June are down 2.7%. It says in May, this is actually May right now, the May numbers are still up, and it talks about the June numbers will be released on July 27th. So I'll have those numbers up for you as soon as they get posted. It says in May 2023, pending home sales surged in the Northeast. The other three U.S. regions posted month-over-month losses. All four regions saw year-over-year declines in transactions. So this time last year, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, there's a total decline right now is what that's saying. And that's obvious in the housing market. However, the Northeast is holding kind of strong for some reason. And let's talk about the interest rates, and then we're going to just summarize, right? But let me bring it, before we get into interest rates, let's talk about the Washington, D.C. It talks about Washington, Arlington, Alexandria, D.C., VA, MD. It's called the DMV technically, the metro area here. It says 6.6% of homeowners in the area bought their home within the last year. It just gave a little bit of the stats. Looking at the interest rates right now, 30-year fixed rate, 6.6%. You can say 6.7. The APR is also 6.7. 20-year fixed is at a 6.37 or 6.4 with an APR of 6.4. 15-year fixed is at a 5.8 with an APR of 5.9. 10-year fixed rate is at a 5.8 with a 6.0 APR. 7-year ARM adjusted rate mortgage is at a 6.7 with an APR of 7.5. The FHA is at a 5.6% with an APR of 6.5. I'll have these numbers posted up for you all so you can see. What does this mean for the housing market? it means not too many buyers are going to be able to afford a house. If you've been working on your credit, if you've been careful in saving and everything, you got nothing to worry about. You will be paying a higher mortgage than if you bought, let's say, a couple years ago when interest rates were like 2%, 2.7%. Should you wait to buy a house, who's to say if these interest rates are going to drop, or are they going to keep increasing, right? However, I can say you can always buy a house. It's always a good time to buy, even if you got to pay super high interest rates. If you can afford the monthly payment, I say go ahead and make the move, because you're going to start accumulating that equity on the house if the market does appreciate and turn around over time. However, if the interest rates decline, then you just do a refinance, right, and get a lower payment. But if the interest rates continue to increase, then you're gonna wish you would have gotten in. So that's why I always advise just make the move, and you can always adjust your rates based on how the market goes. All right, so I hope that was helpful. Let's look at the state of Maryland real quick and see what's going on here in the state of Maryland. It says units sold in the month of June down 21.7%. 6,938 houses sold in Maryland compared to last year when 8,857 houses sold. Average price is now $501,000. That's because people are paying more, higher interest rates, right? Average price last year was $487,000, so the market hasn't seen that crash here in Maryland. The median home price, it says the median price is the middle value of prices of all homes sold in the period. So just homes sold in this period, median price is $415,148. Last year was $410,000 even. Pending units are down from 7,758 last year. It's now 6,854. Active listings are also down. Wow, from 11,736, they're down to 8,374. So fewer people are selling their homes, mostly because when you sell your home, if it's your primary residence, where you're going to move to, and you're probably not trying to go pay a high interest rate. So almost 3,000 less people are deciding to sell their house. That's why the inventory sucks, and then that's why the market really hasn't crashed, because the supply is down, right? And even though demand is down, the supply is also down, so you haven't seen that crash. Normally, if there's excess supply and not that much demand, that kind of affects the market, right? So if you got a whole bunch of houses and not enough buyers, then the sellers got to drop the price, right? Because the supply outweighs the demand. But the crash hasn't really happened yet because the supply is down, the demand is down, so it kind of just stays a slow decline in the market, not a big crash as we've all anticipated with all the interest rates and what they got going on. All right. So now let's locally here in the city of Upper Marlboro, Maryland, I got a couple sites that I looked at. This is first from Redfin. It says Upper Marlboro housing market, and we're talking about the month of June. The median sales price in Upper Marlboro right now is $350,000. It's down 18.6% year over year. Homes sold, only 29 homes were sold in Upper Marlboro, which is down 27.5% year over year compared to this time last year. The median days on the market is 20 days, which is up plus 2% year over year. So if you're going to sell your house in Upper Marlboro, the average is 20 days. Not bad compared to certain areas, where houses take 60 days on the market, right? Let's see what it says right here. It says in June 2023, Upper Marlboro home prices were down 18.6% compared to last year, selling for a median of $350K on average. Homes in Upper Marlboro sell after 20 days on the market compared to 18 days last year. So plus 2 days, not 2%, sorry. So So last year, 18 days, your house is gone. Now, 20 days. That's still not bad, really. It's not a crash yet because you can still get your home sold, right? There were 29 homes sold in June this year, down from 40 last year. So that's what I was talking about, supply and demand. That's why the crash really hasn't happened, because less people are willing to sell their houses because they consider, if I sell this house, where am I going to move to, right? Am I going to pay a higher interest rate, higher mortgage to pick up something else? So most people that sell are really those that really have to move, or those that are trying to just get rid of a second property due to taxes and everything else. They're like, all right, let me just get rid of this house. Others, unless you're not really satisfied with the house you're living in, most people are holding tight just due to the way the market is, right? It says the Upper Marlboro housing market is somewhat competitive. Homes in Upper Marlboro receive 3 offers on average and sell in around 20 days. This is according to Redfin, right? So it's still a seller's market. You're getting 3 offers, so you can kind of get a little bit more than asking price. It says the median sales price, we read that, $350K. Let's say the median sales price per square foot in Upper Marlboro is $228 per square foot. This is up 10.9% since last year. So if you had a home in Upper Marlboro, it appreciated in value, really, when you think about it, right? All right, so let's look at another website. I think I got Rocket Mortgage here, or Rocket Homes. It says Upper Marlboro is it a buyer or seller's market? Market conditions are pointing to a seller's market. I kind of like Rocket Mortgage. It kind of has this little odometer, points to whether it's a seller's market or a buyer's market. Right now it's saying it's a seller's market. Why is it saying that? Let's look at this. How much the homes in Upper Marlboro, Maryland cost? Well, Redfin said $228. Rocket Mortgage is saying $226, so $2 difference, pretty close. The median price here is saying it's $465,750. Redfin said as far as sold, it's $350K. That's sold, but just the median, the average price of homes in Upper Marlboro, not necessarily what's sold. Well, here it says based on all homes sold in the last 12 months. This is looking at the year. Redfin was looking at the month of June, right? But I would say 465 makes sense, even though they're not contradicting each other. They're measuring 2 different scales, right? Rocket Homes is talking about a 12-month span. Redfin was talking about that 1 month. But I would say 465K makes some sense, because if you know Upper Marlboro, I was showing a client some houses in Upper Marlboro, and she was like, wow, this area is pretty weird. You got really small houses, then you got mega mansions, right? It's a ton of mega mansions all over the place. So just driving, there's a lot of acreage and a lot of land, right? A lot of people got huge land and spaces. So you will see a small house, a shed, and a big piece of land, and you will see a few blocks down a huge mansion. It's kind of weird how the area is. It's kind of rural to in some areas, and you just got these nice developments in other areas, right? I'll do a separate video digging in more about Upper Marlboro, but just a few things. The county jail is in Upper Marlboro as far as Prince George's County. The courthouse is in Upper Marlboro. So you got a lot of administrative things as far as the county goes here in the city of Upper Marlboro. It's pretty strange. You would think all those things. As far as Maryland, you also have like a court building in Hyattsville area. But there's a courthouse here as well in Upper Marlboro. You got parks. There's a golf course. So I'll do another video really just detailing all those things, right? But $465,750 makes sense, because you can easily get a house that goes for millions of dollars, and then you can get a house that goes for $200,000, just depending on the drive. And it's not, most of the time it's not going to be like your neighbor's house is an eyesore because you got a mega mansion and they got like a small shack, because 9 times out of 10 the land is so spread out in certain areas of Upper Marlboro, you won't really see your neighbor's house like that. It really depends on where you are. You do have townhome communities. You got just different cul-de-sacs with HOAs. Then you just got areas that don't have any HOA. And you got USDA land as well, because there's some rural stuff going on in certain areas, and it's just a nice mix of large mansions to just smaller houses, you know. But 9 times out of 10 you're gonna see a bunch of mega mansions all around Upper Marlboro. All right, so I hope that worked out for you guys. Hope you like that. Let me know if there's anything you want me to touch on, any city you want me to address and talk about, and we can go from there. Okay. So now we're going to talk about selling a home in Upper Marlboro. Let's look at that. We're going to go back to this Rocket Homes, right? It talked about selling a home in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. So if you're living in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, and you're trying to sell your home, this would be a good place for you. It says right now, 2023, it's a seller's market, and I can give you why it says that. The difference in price of home has gone up $105,750. Not the price, but the price of homes sold, right? Based on all homes sold within the last 12 months, Rocket Homes is saying the average median price in Upper Marlboro is going for $465,750, and cost per square foot is $226. Redfin said it's $228. So you can just look at the square footage of your house, kind of get a quick rough estimate, but there are a whole lot more factors, right? If you're a homeowner, you know, just because you got this, you both have 2,000 square feet or 8,000 square feet, doesn't mean it's all equal, right? All things are not all equal. Sometimes they're different, but it breaks it down into bedroom count, right? One bedroom, just a one bedroom house, is kind of going for $179,000. Nine times out of 10, you're talking a condo, right? 2 bedroom houses are going for $287,000. Last year they were going for $275,000. 3 bedroom houses are now going for that's the average. The median home price per bedroom. It's not, like I said, all things are not equal. Median home prices for 3 bedrooms in Upper Marlboro 2023 are going for $465,000. This is up 29.2% compared to last year. Last year, 3 bedroom houses were going for $360,000, but I know 2 bedroom houses that went for higher than that, just based on the land. So like I said, different things, different factors. The landscaping, just the amenities, just how the house looks, right? Curb appeal, all these things. Solar panels. So there's so many different factors. This is just a general. So 4 bedroom houses last year went for $427,500. This year you're looking at $502,000, right? It's up 14.5%. 5 bedroom plus houses average around $685,000 here in Upper Marlboro. Let's look at I want to look at what Redfin is talking about regarding Upper Marlboro. See if I can pull up the Redfin stats real quick. All I see are these Rocket Homes. So Redfin is saying the median sale price. Remember, Rocket Homes talked about a 12-month period. Redfin is, it says in June 2023, Upper Marlboro home prices were down 18.6% compared to last year, selling for a median price of $350,000. So the market is slowing down. On average, homes in Upper Marlboro sell after 20 days being on the market. Last year, they were selling after 18 days. So 2 more days, but still, if you're a seller, still a seller's market in essence. You can get your house sold within under a month. That's not bad compared to other areas in America, right? Bro, it says the Upper Marlboro market is somewhat competitive. You saw the Rocket Homes, they had the little meter that was leaning towards the seller's market, and that is also confirmed here on Redfin. It says homes in Upper Marlboro receive 3 offers on average and sell around 20 days. So if you're a seller, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get multiple offers. You can kind of start a little bit in war for and get more for your house. But that's all based on how you price it. So there are different strategies when you sell a house. You can ask for the highest amount and get that, or sometimes you can ask for a little less than what you really want just to get other these three buyers now on average going, bidding on the house. So somebody makes an offer, you tell them, hey, I got another offer that beats that. Do you want to beat that offer? So you just start a bidding war, right? Sometimes it's bad if you bring the price really low and you only get one offer. You may not accept it and increase the price. Whatever you want to do, that's up to you. But the danger sometimes in asking too much is you may not get any offers. And sometimes when your homes are selling within 20 days and you got your house on the market for 60 days, people are like, oh, what's wrong with that house? It's like a stigma almost. You don't want to create an unnecessary negative feeling about your property just by holding on to it. We'll do a separate video that talks about if you want to move to Upper Marlboro, just the climate, the schools, transportation, even the crime rate and all those things, pros and cons of living in Upper Marlboro. We'll dive into that a little later. But that's pretty much the market stats if you're selling the house in Upper Marlboro. Just a quick tips, I would say, prep your house. Just this Saturday, I went to go view a house. This is in Annapolis, Maryland, and I hope this person is serious with selling, but it's like they're just living in the house, like a regular, just living there. All their pictures up, everything is still there. And I actually got to follow up with the gentleman. This is the weekend now, so during the course of the week, I'll reach out to him and just you just hope they receive the advice in a good way. But if I'm buying that house, I wouldn't want to buy it like that. Even though they got to move everything, just walking in there doesn't look like a house that's being sold. All the tools in the garage is just too cluttered. So I say all that to say, when you are selling your house, one thing you want to do is declutter the house. You don't want too much furniture. Just declutter it. If you gotta go rent a public storage to keep things for a month or two, factor that into your cost. What is that going to cost you? An extra $70, $100 for a month? The house is going to sell within 20 days anyway, as we see the average in Upper Marlboro. So what you want to do, just pay that $100 for public storage, move all that stuff out. Just make it like a showroom. Like when you go to a furniture showroom, that's how your house needs to be. It's not personal, right? Take all your pictures, your trophies, your toys, keep them away. Just get the house as though it's a showroom, like a hotel lobby almost. Just clean and just spurts of furniture here and there to kind of bring the life out. So you want to give people an idea of what it feels like to be home, but you don't want them walking in like they're coming to visit your house while you're living there. You want it to be like a showroom. All right, so depersonalize the house, prep the house, please. I would say over time, though, if you're planning on selling, focus on, renovating key areas, right? Like your bathroom. Just do a quick remodel there. Your kitchen over time as you live there. So when it's time to sell, you don't have these big costs and big repairs. If you got to take care of your roof, do that. Just when you live in the house, just live in it. Every once in a while, you know how you got the spring cleaning event, when it's the springtime, you're cleaning your house. Try to do that maybe monthly or quarterly at least, to where you do some deep cleaning. Not, you got to clean your house every day or every other day or so, every week at least. But at least every month, do a deep dive, deep clean, to where you keep the standards of it. Touch up the paint, all the peeling paint on your foundations. Just touch it up, right? Keep it up to date, or even better, so when it's time to sell, you don't have to incur these. There's this other potential client I was working with, and she took her house off the market because there's just so many repairs that are being done. Great house, great potential, but she got so much work to do to get the house sold. And that's when you live in the house for years and you don't work on it. So just work on it so when it's time to sell, it's ready to go. You just got to move stuff out, depersonalize it, do showings, right? So then you stage the property. I can do a separate video for how to stage the property, but like I mentioned, just get it looking like a showroom. Take all your personal stuff out of there. It's not personal. Don't take it personal, really and literally. No point intended. It's not personal. Get all your stuff out of there. All right. Find an agent if you want to do so. Some people choose to sell for sale by owner. I got a video down in the description. I'll try to leave it in the description down below. I made for those who want to sell their house for sale by owner. What do I recommend? You can say, oh, you're an agent. You're going to recommend getting an agent. I know people who've sold multiple houses and never hired an agent. I know people who have sold for sale by owner and have lost money not hiring an agent. I know somebody who just sold a house for about 440 grand, 540,000, when the median price in that area was going for 568, almost 570,000. So the saying goes, penny wise, pound foolish, right? Sometimes you say, oh, I'm not trying to pay this agent. You're being penny wise, trying to save a penny, and you lose a pound. This gentleman now, I met with him and he said, oh, a friend of mine is an agent, told me, why pay an agent $15,000, you know? So I thought about that when I talked to him a week later, and he said, oh, my house is under contract. I got $20,000 more than the asking price. That should be a red flag. If you ask for $525 and they're paying you $540, and you guys say, whoa, why are they paying me more? Because they're really paying you less than they would have paid if they had an agent. So you're thinking you're getting over on them, but now you didn't want to pay an agent 15 grand. You ended up losing about $30,000 on the sale. What difference does that make? You could have paid that agent the commission and it still netted more. So it all depends on, do you have the time? Can you do a good CMA? Maybe I'll leave a link down in the description below on how to do a CMA. I did a video on that. Or I would say just get an appraisal, right? Just pay for an appraisal, you know. So somebody comes out certified by the state, tell you exactly. Honestly, I recommend to all my sellers, get an appraisal. So you just know it's an extra cost. Some people don't want to bear the cost of these things, but that way there's no discrepancies. You know exactly how much your house is valued at, right? Get a certified appraiser and just know how much it's worth, right? But if you don't want to pay that, you can do a CMA. Once again, the link is down in the description below on how to do a CMA. Comparative market analysis to kind of know what your house, where your house should be, right? So you know somebody doesn't pull a fast one on you, where you think you're getting $20,000 more than your asking price, but you're actually losing 30 grand, you know? So just think about that. So you sign a listing agreement. There are three forms of listing agreements. You got an open listing. Open listing, I'll just give you a general, my general idea of it. You can Google the definitions, but open listing is like where, for instance, I'm an agent. I come to you, you're the seller. You say, oh, I don't want to list with an agent. I want to do it for sale by owner. I say, well, why don't you do like an open listing contract where pretty much anybody can whoever brings the deal, whoever brings the buyers who gets paid, not necessarily me. If you bring the buyer, you get paid. Another agent bring the buyer. So multiple agents can it's an open listing, right? It's open, literally in the definition. Exclusive listing is where it's not open to other agents, right? Only I have myself and you, the seller. So the seller can market the house and try to get buyers, and I can do that as well. But if the seller brings a buyer in, then I don't get a commission. Sometimes I may prefer that just because I know I'm going to do my job. So we're going to get this house sold. I'll get you a buyer, so we can do that. If you think you're going to get somebody, go ahead, you know, and then I'll go out there and market the property. That kind of proves the worth of the agents. Let's put it like that, right? So open listings are good. Some agents only do exclusive agency, exclusive right to sell, which is also very good because you're sure you're going to sell this thing and you got too many clients where you're not going to bother with this one right here that's not too sure if they want to list with you or whatever. Exclusive right to sell is where the owner is not looking to sell it at all. They're not marketing it. This is ideal for just professionals, people that are very busy, or just even if you have a family going on, you just got things going on in your life. There's so many things. Don't want to name negative things, but so much can be going on in one's life, from a wedding to a death to kids. You know, so much can be going on to where you don't have the time to market the property, show the property. You just sign an exclusive right to sell where only this agent and this agent alone gets to sell the property. Even if you get a potential buyer, that seller still kind of gets a commission. That's why that agent still gets a commission. That's why agents kind of like that. But anyway, you sign a listing agreement. These are just the steps. So first, you prep the home. You want to ensure that there are no liens or against the home. Let's say you didn't pay a gas bill. You hired a contractor to change your HVAC and you didn't pay them all the way. They got a lien against your house, or the state because you didn't pay your taxes, or the county or HOA, whatever. Make sure there are no liens against your house. So you went to borrow money against your house. You put your house down as collateral to go bail somebody, just different things, or for a medical expense, whatever. You just want to make sure there are no liens against your house. Stage the property, find an agent, or if you're doing a FSBO, you can check the link down below. I advise you get an appraisal so nobody pulls a fast one on you, or you get a CMA. If you trust the process, you want to learn how to do a CMA, check the link down in the description below. You sign a listing agreement. And when you sign a listing agreement, you as the seller need to sign the property disclosure form. That's you disclosing any known material defects that the house has. Only the seller can sign that. An agent can kind of advise you, but really agents got to stay away from that. It's legally binding, and only you. It's actually illegal for an agent in DC. I know that much. It's illegal for an agent to sign the seller's disclosure. Only the seller, only the seller can sign that. They live there. It's their word. When the lawsuit comes back, the seller is going to be liable if they lied about something on the disclosure. The only time an agent is liable is if they knew about it. If they knew about it and they connived with the seller, then they can get in trouble. So you want to, as an agent, you want to advise your sellers, just be open and transparent. If there's major repairs that need to be done, maybe they sell it as is. They state it and just handle it on the front end, because if you disclose all these things and the buyer was aware of it and they bought it, you protect yourself from a lawsuit. But if you hide these things in the disclosure form, it may come back to bite you. So just be transparent. That's why I say as you live in the house over time, just take care of all those repairs slowly so you don't have to face these things down the line. So after you sign, the agent will start marketing your house, different ways that they can market the house. Every agent has a different way to do it. Not going to get too much into that. Then you're going to receive offers. As we read, Upper Marlboro, you got 3 offers on average per seller. So you may need to drop your price or increase the price based on the market, right? After you accept the offer, you're under contract. While you're under contract, there's like a 30 or 45 days you give to the buyer to come up with the money just to get everything going. And then you set a closing date where you go to the title company and you swap titles. You should be out of the house by a certain time. Actually, you just negotiate all those things, but 9 times out of 10 is prior to the closing, because after that closing, when that guy signs that guy or lady signs that contract, they pick up that key. They should be able to have access to the property. But if you think you're not going to move on time, you need to state all of these things in there and go from there, right? All right, so that's how to sell your house. I hope you found that video useful or beneficial, how to sell your house in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. And we're going to keep on going. But let's take a quick message from our sponsor while we're here. All right, so next we are going to talk about new real estate agent best practices, right? If you're new to the game, you just got in, I'm just going to give you a few pointers as far as best practices. I would say set a schedule, right? You always want to set a schedule, but a schedule means nothing if you don't stick to it, right? So set a schedule and stick to the schedule. Very key. It will help you. Just based on, some people come in the game and are full-timers, but most people kind of do part-time until it picks up. Then they become a full-time agent. So if you're doing it part-time, just schedule, set a schedule and stick to it. What should be on this schedule as a new agent? Training, because you always want to grow, always want to develop, right? And what you learn in, whatever course you took to pass the real estate exam has really little to nothing to do with what you're going to need to be successful as an agent, right? That is Greek, this is Spanish, two different languages, right? So you learn those things. They mostly want to keep you on the legal side, teach you all the laws that you don't want to break. Real estate is really like a sales thing, right? What you learn there is different from what's going to make you to succeed. It reminds me of one time at a different company. I was an associate, then I got my first promotion. Then my manager came to me and said, "Congrats, Ray. What got you here is not what's going to keep you here." Right? Like, you got here because you were a hard worker. What's going to keep you here is you need to be a leader. Different things, right? So same thing. You passed your exam. Congratulations. But what got you here is not what's going to keep you here. Two different languages. I hope that makes sense. So you want to do training. Learn. I would say if you can shadow somebody, that's best. Somebody that has experience already, that's proven, that can sell, or they can really walk you through the processes. Just shadow somebody, And the thing about successful people, for the most part, obviously you got some people that are too egotistic and they don't want to, or sometimes they're just very busy. It's not about an ego thing. Some people are just busy. They don't have the time. But 9 times out of 10, people really want to help you, especially those that are successful. All you got to do is call them up and say, "Hey, can we have lunch, or can I shadow you?" If you just talk to them, and you got to see what kind of value you bring. You got to find a way to get to them. Sometimes talk to their assistant. Find out how you can get to them, right? But if you want to shadow somebody, I think that is good. There are a lot of mentoring and coaching programs out there that you can sign up for. But I would say learn your scripts if you want to chase the listing business, right? I would say that's probably something I should have done better when I first got in the game, is learn my scripts. You don't necessarily need a script. You can kind of feel the vibe of the person sometimes, but I would say the script kind of keeps you focused to that end outcome, which is to get the listing. The real estate industry, I'll just be honest for all new agents, people come in and they think it's like a doctor where people come soliciting you because they got a stomach ache. They need your services. They come looking for you. In the real estate industry, people are looking to buy houses, but they may not be able to find you as that agent. Marketing is very key in order to get yourself into people's faces. I'll just say this much, So when people like you and they know you, they're more familiar with you. They're more. It's easier for them to work with you than some random person. So get to know people, get your word out there. But in essence, I say all that to say the real estate market is an outbound sales thing. It's really a sales business. So people see the glamour. You see all these people posting all these houses and all these things. It's work, and it's hard work, and it's unpleasant work sometimes, but it's really an outbound sales thing. You got to do prospecting. You got to be able to accept rejection at times and move on, right? That's really what it's about, because the key with that is there are 2 ways I can say. You got those who chase the buyers and they buy leads sometimes on Zillow, buy them on Redfin. That is okay. but you always got to kind of be paying for this thing. When you master the art of hunting, it's really kill what you eat. You know, going out there and getting that listing, that kind of sustainability of that is better. Let's just put it that way. It's unpleasant, but it's sustainable and it's exponentially great, right? The possibilities of you reaching the goal you set for yourself is huge, right? So learn your scripts. It helps with your confidence. You want to learn your market because people are not stupid. They can sniff incompetence. You know, people just have that capability. So you want to be competent. That's why I say training, shadow somebody, learn your market. Definitely reach out to your sphere of influence. As I said, first 2 clients came from people I knew. It just works better that way. 9 times out of 10, people are going to work with people they know and trust and people they like. And obviously, always let them know, hey, the best compliment you can give me is a referral. So let them refer your business to you, right? Prospecting. These are things you're talking about scheduling, right? You want to schedule. Okay, I'm going to schedule some time for my script. Schedule for some time for training. Schedule some time for prospecting. Prospecting is like cold calling, but we just talked about sphere of influence. Schedule some time where you're going to reach out to everybody you know on your phone contact and let them know, hey, I'm a new realtor. If you know anybody buying or selling a property, please let me know. Cold calling, you can use your MLS to find out houses that are expired in your area and try to go knock on those doors or cold call, or then, you know, you can farm. We call it farming, right? So there's enough to go around for everybody. So you don't want to be all over the area. You know, you want to find an area and focus on that area. You want to be that local agent for that area. And eventually some of those clients who move to other places, and they're just going to work with you when they move to another place in the state. But you want to know an area and grow because it just helps when you're that name in that area. People know, hey, I want to sell a house in Upper Marlboro, I'm going to call Raymond, right? That's just what it is. Or whoever your name is and whatever your city is. And then slowly you can branch out, right? Farming, the way you can farm that area is by hand mailing, postcards. You got all these different websites now. They're very popular. I don't want to give anybody any free promotions, but there are all these websites that you can go to and then create postcards that can ship them out. Most of the time, if you're within a real estate firm, like for instance, Remax, they got different tools that can help you with that, right? Obviously, this one is key. It's just be a professional. Be a professional, meaning you're on time for appointments, you're on time for calls. On time on your research. If you tell somebody, hey, I'm going to get you this contract by this time, do it. You just want to be known for somebody who's a man of their word or a woman of their word. And people, once they get to know that, they trust that, you'll be able to grow over time. So be a professional, be polite. But another key in everything, right? The saying goes, what gets measured gets accomplished. Track your productivity, you know, track it. Track how many calls you're doing and how many of those equate to a deal. How many doors you knocked on and how many of those equate to a deal. Just track your productivity, because when you do track it, then you get to see how unproductive you're being. So when you go through 1, 2, 3, 4 months without getting any deal, you just look at your productivity and you don't say, oh, I'm going to quit real estate because it sucks. You just say, I didn't do the work. Let me do the work. Track your productivity, because it motivates you to actually do the work, to where you stop blaming why you didn't get a deal or why you're not getting any deals. And you just see, okay, I'm not getting any deals because I'm not productive. So instead of saying, oh, this business sucks, this industry sucks, you just own up to it and say, I didn't do what I set out to do. And then you focus on it. All right. And I would say make the days count. Don't count the days, right? Focus on the big rocks. The big rocks are the things that are the revenue generating activities, right? Like the prospecting, the cold calling, the door knocking, talking to people that you know in your sphere of influence. Focus on those things. Not to say the websites and all these extra things are not necessary. Those don't necessarily generate you money instantly, right? Those take time. So focus on the big rocks, the things that are going to make you successful now. All right. So I hope good luck in your career. Hope you like that video. And we're going to get to the next topic. So for my buyers, my first time home buyers, we're going to talk about the FHA loan a little bit in depth. Let's see what it stands for. FHA is Federal Housing Administration, right? And let's see Rocket Mortgage's definition of the FHA loan. It said, what is an FHA loan? FHA loans are backed by the Federal Housing Administration, FHA, agency under the jurisdiction of the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD. FHA loans are insured by the FHA, which simply means that the owners of your mortgage are protected against loss if you default on your loan. The owners of your mortgage, that's the lenders, right? The banks are protected by the Federal Housing Administration. That's all it is. It's an insurance for them to give out. You don't want to say risky loans, but it's really an incentive, low income families to be able to get a house. So the government is going to ensure that in case you don't pay your loan, the government is going to cover that cost. So these banks don't go out of business. And it also incentivizes them to loan low income families, right? And it's a good way for them to get into the housing market or a real estate business, in essence. Not necessarily business, but just some people just want to own a home for their family, right? I was watching presidential candidate Tim Scott was talking about a dream his mother had was just to buy a house with a garage. So he ended up buying her a house with a garage, something like that. So some people just want a house, you know, and they don't want to be in these neighborhoods where pull in and they got to grab their purses because neighbors are outside, whatever it may be. You just want to buy a house with a garage where you can pull in safely. So, right. Just as they used to call it, the American dream, the white picket fence. So the FHA makes it affordable for lower income families. You don't want it to, it's not intended to be like the 2008 thing turned out where they gave a lot of subprime loans out to people that really should not have been loaned. And then the whole housing market industry crashed. That's not the purpose of the FHA loan. It's for those who really want to buy a house but cannot save $80-something thousand to get a down payment. The housing and urban development is really just trying to help you get into a house to where you can you may not be able to save $84,000 for your first house, but you may be able to save $14,000 or $15,000, right? You get a couple tax returns and then you save that and you might be able to get a house. Or however you get your money, it doesn't matter, but the government is trying to incentivize that home ownership. So they created the FHA program. So let me go to the HUD website and read what it says. It says, let FHA loans help you. FHA loans have been helping people become homeowners since 1934. So that's when the FHA loan was rolled out. How do we do it? The Federal Housing Administration, FHA, which is part of HUD, insures the loan so lenders can offer you a better deal. How? Low down payments. We talked about that, right? Difference between an FHA loan and a conventional loan, for instance. Conventional loans, 9 times out of 10, need to pay 20% down. FHA, low down payments, you're only required to pay 3.5%. And so, for instance, a $400,000 home, $420,000 home, if you are doing an FHA loan, you'll need $14,700 just for your down payment. Not all closing costs, right? Just the down payment part of your closing cost. Your closing cost is going to be a little higher because there are a lot of fees and things, but just your down payment, you're looking at $14,700 for a $420,000 house. A conventional loan, on the other hand, will be you're gonna need 20% down, which is $84,000, right? So what does it says? Low down payments, low closing costs, easy credit qualifying, right? Easy credit qualifying, you got to take that with a grain of salt. That's their intentions, but the lenders, due to the 2008 housing market crash, they don't really give out these subprime loans. So if your DTI is too high, your debt to income ratio is super high, or your credit is like at a 580, they say that should work for the FHA. 9 times out of 10, lenders are not going to go for it. You need to get it up a little bit more, right? It says buying your first home, FHA might be just what you need. Your down payment can be as low as 3.5% of the purchase price, available on 1 to 4 unit properties. For those who are trying to get into, what do they call it? House hacking and things like that. You can buy a 4-unit property, live in one, rent the other 3 out. It just got to be your primary residence, right? Sometimes you can sell a house and then 3 years later try to buy another house. Then you qualify again for the FHA thing, right? It says, are you 62 or older? Do you live in your home? Do you own it outright or have a low balance? If the answer is yes to all of these questions, then the FHA reverse mortgage might be right for you. So this is when you live in your house now and then you start to live off your equity. That's just an FHA reverse mortgage. We can dive into that deeper at another time. Want to make your home more energy efficient? You can include the cost of energy improvements to an FHA energy efficient mortgage. Those are things we can dig into a little bit later. But just for the part of it, you can, this website is up. You can find an FHA lender, what lenders work with the FHA. So let's say, just visit the HUD website for more details on that. But FHA, like I said, is just insured, right? And 9 times out of 10, when you sign all these contracts, you got to pay like an escrow fee. These are just extra fees that are not really in the conventional loan. But your down payment is going to be lower. You can always refinance to get out of that FHA loan into a conventional over after a few years. Requirements that before they insure that loan, they're going to inspect the house. They need that. The FHA requires that just to make sure this money that they're insuring is for a property that's worth what they claim it is. So they're going to need an appraisal. They're going to need, these are requirements, appraisal and insurance, right? And a good credit score. So hopefully that touches on everything regarding the FHA loan. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. I think we covered everything we had to cover on this episode. And stay tuned for more. We got some more coming for you. And leave a comment down in the description below if there's anything you want us to address that we didn't touch on in this episode. We'll be more than happy to touch on it in the future.